He is one of the worst street drivers. So distracted, and he drives with 2 feet. And I don't know about you. I drive with, I switch over, but he drives with 2 feet. So he always wants to hit his mark. So if it's a red light in front of us, he drives to the line and then hits the brake. Like, my gosh, can we just ease off a little?
It's the Kenny Wallace Conversation, brought to you by JEGS.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Kenny Conversation, brought to you by JEGS, the leader in high-performance aftermarket car parts. Remember to go to jegs.com for anything you need to fix your hot rod up or your everyday vehicle. And once again, they're telling me they have Jeep parts and truck parts in stock. Man, I'm going to tell you what, I got goosebumps. I can't believe this. There she is, Katelyn Larson. Katelyn, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Happy to be home and settled in for a few weeks.
You do a lot of traveling. I follow you on Instagram. It makes me happy because you and your husband, Kyle Larson, remind me of me and my wife in our early days. We would run through those airports with our three girls all over us. How do you handle all that?
I'm not really sure. I guess when I'm not given a choice, I just have to do it. So I think it actually works out better when there's no other option. The kids know that when we're just doing it, they behave a little bit better when dad's not around. And they know mom is just like, okay, I got to do it all. It's 3 against 1. Let's help mom out. So they're pretty good. They travel really well.
So we have a lot to get to, and I have a lot of talking points. And I have to be honest, I saw a different side of you and your family. So as they say in AM radio, let's paint the picture. Last week, I was in Chico, California at Silver Dollar Speedway.
Mhm.
And as we all know, your husband, yourself, your brother, Brad Sweet, you all own High Limit Racing, winged dirt sprint cars. And when I showed up, you were one of the first people to meet me besides your dad, Don.
Yeah.
Don picked me up, but you saw me and you put a button on me right away. And basically it meant I was official to judge a contest.
Yeah.
But my point is this. You are a girly girl, but I see a lot of tomboy in you. You all are dirt racers. Are you a dirt racer?
Absolutely. Well, not actually. Like, I tried my hand in dirt racing that weekend and it didn't really work. I've got bruises all over my body. But a dirt racing fan at that, for sure.
So you told me that you went down to what is that famous little go-kart track?
Cycling Speedway.
My gosh, the best in racing have gone through that racetrack.
Right. Yeah.
I've heard all about it. So, we see the ladies, run the bandoleros or the cars over there at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So they said you were pretty good, is what you told me, but you're bruised up, huh?
I was good for 2 laps, and then I was not good for the 3rd lap, and then I did 4 laps together, and then I would wreck on the 3rd lap. I think I'm just too competitive to run in the back. So I was trying to make passes that weren't very good.
Okay, let's do the family tree a little bit.
Okay.
Your dad, Don Sweet, your mother, and your brother is what I say the great Brad Sweet, 5-6-time World of Outlaw, champion. Your brother's great. He's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Then you marry somebody that's a phenomenon. You marry Kyle Larson, and then you got his dad, Mike. So you all created this family that is quickly becoming one of the greatest racing families of all time. And what I saw at Silver Dollar Speedway is all of you were all in. I saw your brother's wife, Rachel, with a backpack on, grabbing the money from, the beer stands. And I saw you working hard. And I'm thinking, this is unbelievable. Kyle Larson's wife is all in. So tell me about this dynamic of your racing family, buying high limit. I mean, do you work there? It looks like you do.
No, I think there's a full high limit team. I'm not too much involved in the high limit racing side of it, more that just the Silver Dollar Speedway promotion side of it. Rachel does, I would say, most everything for Silver Dollar, even the weekly shows. But I come for that week and help because it's our biggest event, and because we own the series and the racetrack promotion, like we need all hands on deck for that week. And really, I'm there to support in any way I can. If the lines are long, if they need help in concession stands, if they need help at the pit booth, wherever. But my job that week is to run the bikini contest and promote that for Friday night. And it's such a big event and such a big hype around it with all the crew guys. And it's just, they have such a long year on the road, and that any kind of fun entertainment in the middle of their season and after a long night of racing, to get them to come judge or to come watch, drink a beer, whatever. We just try to have fun with it.
One would start kind of snickering, bikini contest, but I got to tell you, I'll watch that.
Mm-hmm.
You take that very seriously. You feel responsible for those girls. I felt like you treated the bikini contest as a business.
Mm-hmm.
You really keep those girls in check. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, I think having Brad as like a mentor to me in this, I mean, everything that he does is a business. So with having a free entry to this and then selling beer, that's our business. That's how we make the money. So we put on this entertainment. Shop Kyle Larson sponsors the event, but it brings the people. We just want everything to grow. Everything's a business to Brad, and he looks at it that way. So we're just trying to treat the girls with respect, but also have fun and show that we're also, like you said, it's a business. We're also trying to make money on the other side of it and have fun.
You are, and we want everybody to know who's just now tuning in, you are Kyle Larson's wife. But I want to talk about your brother Brad just a little bit. And we're going to get to, what's up nowadays. But from what I can tell is you and your brother Brad are close.
Mm-hmm.
You love each other. Like my brother Mike and my brother Rusty, myself, we can go at it. But I felt like when I was around you two, that you two really love each other. Certainly you can go at it. Tell me your relationship with your brother Brad.
Yeah, Brad and I are actually 6 years apart. So growing up, we kind of had some distance. I was just his little sister. I grew up with 3 older brothers. Brad is my full brother. I always tell people I grew up with 3 older brothers. We had my oldest brother is a half brother. My cousin, my parents adopted, and he lived with us, and then Brad. So that's where the tomboy, I think, comes from.
I love it.
My mom also had 3 older brothers, so it's just we've got a lot of competitiveness in sports in us. But yeah, I've been close with Brad. I think just because our paths are constantly crossing, and we have the same passion, and that's dirt racing in general, but dirt racing, trying to grow the sport. But yeah, he's always calling to bounce ideas off of me, and he's definitely a big mentor in my life. Like if I have a question about business or even just about personal life or trying to figure out navigate marriage and stuff, he always has a positive outlook on everything. He's always a half glass full. He's always encouraging, and just life is short. Let's have fun, but let's grind. Let's get where we want to be so that we can enjoy it.
Boy, that is true. Okay, so we kind of laid the groundwork out, who you are, who your family is, and let's be honest, Katelyn, you are extremely popular. In my opinion, this is me. You are the most famous NASCAR wife out there. And here's why. Because you are fun. Your Instagram page is fun. You're a good mama. When you go to Victory Lane, you made you chugged a beer, and that was like, holy moly, this is a tomboy. She's a badass. Everybody loves you because you're a mother of three. You got that tomboy quality to you. You go to Victory Lane. You're respectful. You got a racing family. You're at the dirt track. Tell me, how do you feel about the way people are such big fans of yours? What's that make you feel like?
Well, I always laugh when people ask for my autograph. I just don't quite understand sometimes. I still feel very normal. Like you said, I still go to the dirt track. I mean, I grew up going to Silver Dollar Speedway. 3 weeks old was my first race. So I don't feel any different to this from that time to now, and seeing the same people that have been fans at these racetracks. But when they come up and kind of goo goo gaga over everything and ask for an autograph, I just am like, oh, I don't really understand. Like, I chugged a beer. Like, that's normal. Like, but I guess that's what people like about me. Like you said, I stay very normal for the most part. I mean, I like some bougie stuff, but
Yeah, well, you should. You
yeah.
should. Yeah, you're a girl, and your Instagram page. I just noticed that you all were in Rome. Where did you go over there?
We started in Rome for a night and did both at the Colosseum and the Vatican. We went up to Tuscany. It was much slower pace, kind of like wine tours, which we've done in Napa many times. So we weren't like a huge fan of that. And then we went down to Capri, and that was amazing. I'm ready to go back already. It was such a cool island, and just the whole culture. And there's so many things to learn when you're there.
I want to get back to Italy, but I
Yeah.
want to stay on course here. I hear, yes, I'm a little bit of a tomboy, but yes, I like to be bougie. And by the way, I've learned that phrase from my daughter Brittany,
Yeah.
and I love it. So in NASCAR, you got some old school people like Richard Petty,
Mhm.
and Richard's like, I don't like this dirt racing. It takes us back to a time where things were dirty. Dirt racing is going backwards. But yet, most of our greatest talents, whether it's your husband Kyle or Christopher Bell, or even going back to Kenny Schrader, Tony Stewart, what is your thoughts? When you hear the old school, we don't want anything to do with dirt racing because it's dirty. They got porta potties. What is your thought on that? Yet you're in NASCAR, but yet you still go back and forth. What is your thought on that dynamic that dirt is kind of going backwards?
I wouldn't say going backwards is the correct term. I mean, they're not wrong about it being dirty and porta potties and all those nasty things. But who doesn't love, like when you go to Knoxville, there's a place called Dingus. Who doesn't love a dive bar? I mean, who doesn't love a dive bar? How do you not love one? And that's what you get. That's what you get when you go to a dirt track. They're coming up more and more little dive bars, little communities, and it's a family. I mean, it's a which I guess it is in NASCAR too. But everything's so um, business buttoned up wise in NASCAR. At least it has maybe become more over time. But actually, me and Kyle were watching a Michael Jordan documentary about his motorcycle racing, and I think he said it best because he played basketball. I mean, how does he come out and say that he likes racing? He kept saying in his interviews, I have to get my friends here to see it, to believe it. They have to come and see it, to feel it, to believe it. And I think we kind of turned that around on him. We were like, hey, will you come to a dirt race? And he's like, oh, no, not for me. And I'm like, well, you need to see it to believe it. You need to feel it. Like, you need to come. You can't just say you don't like something. We're working on suites at Silver Dollar. We're going to put some suites up with some air conditioning. You won't get dirty. But you need to feel it. You need to see it. You need to watch it. I mean, it's incredible racing. And I don't know, it's for the fan. To me, it's short races, and there's in between time to go down and get a beer. It's loud, but it's not as loud as NASCAR can be. I'm not saying that it's better than NASCAR by any means, but it's diverse. It's a different type of racing, and I think I love all racing.
You know, I went through what you're going through. I'm 61 years old, and I raced. I always tell everybody it's kind of a joke now. I ran 905 NASCAR races, and before that, I was a NASCAR Cup crew chief. Uh, and now I watch you go through this, and I'm kind of watching this movie. There's no doubt that NASCAR is very corporate. There's millions and millions of dollars involved. So whenever there's that kind of money, it gets pretty intense,
Mhm.
and you got to represent everybody. Is it kind of a vacation every once in a while just to go to the dirt track, just to kind of, relax a little bit? Or how do you look at that?
Depends on what kind of vacations you like to go on. But
You take all three kids?
yeah. But when we go to Knoxville, I mean, we move in. We take our motor home, thankfully. Um, and we move in for the week. And yeah, absolutely, it's a vacation. Nobody nobody bothers me. I mean, they'll say hi and whatnot. Um, I wouldn't call it a vacation if I have to sell, work and sell the t-shirts and stuff though, because that gets a little overwhelming. But no, it's quick, easy in for the night and out. We're usually in and out like on the weekdays and stuff, where Kyle will go. But I mean, it's what I grew up doing, so no matter what, it's always going to be home and feel like such a good spot to be.
Yeah. So let's talk about the victory lane celebration that you made famous.
Mhm.
Once again, you chug the beer, you celebrate a very big win, but now you go to the souvenir trailer and you're helping sell souvenirs, and a drunk fan comes up to you and goes, "Chug a beer, come on, chug a beer." So,
Time.
oh really? Okay. So
Every
okay, so this is good. I'm going to the right spot. How are you dealing with people that have copped a buzz and they want you to do what you chug a beer, and obviously, but how do you deal with that?
Well, a couple years ago when I was like fully doing the souvenir trailer by myself, I would get to the end of the night and be like, "Yeah, you're right. I need to chug a beer." Um, so there would be, I would say no all night and explain to them if I said yes every time somebody came up, I wouldn't be up here selling. I'd be drunk and I would be a bad mom and I would, wouldn't be able to, function. And so, but every once in a while, I would see really intense fans and, some young guys or a group of girls, and I'd be like, you know what? Yes. Do you have a beer for me? And I'd walk outside, we'd chug a beer. It was the greatest day ever for them. But like I said, sometimes I needed it by the end of the night with just all the questions and all the fans. But right now, in this time of my life, I've taken a step back. I've had a third kid. I don't work in the souvenir hauler anymore, and it just gets overwhelming. I'm already overwhelmed with life, and then when I have a lot of fans in my ear all the time and negativity, or because negativity always for some reason will outweigh the positivity in my mind. Um, but yeah, I've just taken a break. But I brought it back at the Brickyard because that was very warranted to chug a beer again.
you know, I listen, and what I hear out of you, I'm not saying I hear out of you, but where I'd like to go with this is you are the wife of the greatest race car driver of our era. And one would think, oh my God, this is the greatest life in the world. They're going to Italy, they're going to the dirt tracks, they're winning the biggest NASCAR races, they're billionaires. But yet it's this way with everybody. Whether it's Bjorn Borg from Germany, the great tennis player, Jimmy Connor, you hear from all the great ones that it does become a little overwhelming. So how do you? That's okay. That happens all the time. Um, how do you control that overwhelming negativity? Because you're on top, and there's an old saying: when you're on top, all they see is your ass.
Hmm.
so you're at the top, but they want to pull you down in some manner. How do you control that in your brain?
Um, well, I think just keeping day-to-day life with kids normal helps. I mean, they're homeschooled, but we have a teacher, so getting up and making a lunch and just normal day-to-day things. Don't getting on my or not getting on my phone, reading comments during the week. I mean, life is very. I'm not going to say normal. I don't want to say that, but in my mind, I'm tired as heck. I'm changing diapers, making bottles, making lunches, cleaning stuff up off the floor. We got swim lessons. We're doing ISR swim lessons for 6 weeks. We just started. So the neighborhood friends are coming over. Pick up from school, baseball practice, racing. We just keep busy. Um, but I do get overwhelmed, especially when I got to pack a bag, unpack a bag, pack a bag, unpack a bag, and do it for three or four people in the family. And laundry, I do have help with laundry. I won't say that I do it all. I'm very thankful for Tamra, our nanny. She helps with a lot of that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I want to say this. I want to say this. I do have to interrupt you because we did the same thing.
yeah,
We spent too much money dry cleaning because we were the same way. And I'm saying this in defense of you. I want all the fans to know that yes, you're exactly right. When you're leaving Thursday and coming back Sunday night, and you're leaving Thursday, it's not a normal life. And we don't complain about it. We love this life. Hell, there's been times where Kim and I say, can't wait to get back in the motorhome. But
it's
yet
true. It's less to clean up.
you do have to have a little bit of help. I mean,
Yes,
I saved saved ourselves by paying for dry cleaning, which
yeah.
uh, I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to defend you a little bit for people going, oh, well, no, it is tough, but
It,
we do love it and we got to have help.
yeah, and my family, like you see my family all the time, but they still do live in California, and we're in North Carolina. So the day-to-day things, or the quick, like tomorrow night we have a 5-team dinner, but our nanny's daughter is getting married this weekend. So there's just I don't have family to say. Kyle's sister is actually watching the kids, but I don't have somebody just to hey, can you watch the kids for 5 minutes, or hey, I'm going to run here, or 'cause Kyle is he kind of has an all over the place schedule. So I do have help, and I'm very thankful for that. It's hard to not have family around, though.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm going to ask you one question about your husband, Kyle Larson. And it's the only question I'm going to ask because this is about you. Is he obsessed like me? Is he addicted like me to racing? Because he just won't stop.
I believe so. I'd say it's passed down straight from his parents, because they still they still watch every race on every subscription. They still go to races in California, even when Kyle's not racing. I mean, I think the addiction comes from early on, and it's just passed right on to him.
I had a good time with Kyle's mom and dad. They were extremely nice to me.
Yeah.
Charlie, my Charlie Marlowe. Charlie, let's drop that picture in right now. Here I am with Kyle's mom and dad. And I was amazed that Mike, Kyle's dad, he knew everything about me. And I was like, you should know some of these things. So you're right. They are a study of the sport, aren't they?
He reads. I mean, I think he has a very daily routine, which I always laugh, because when he comes to visit, I'm always like, hey, it's a 3-hour time change, by the way. And we don't eat dinner or lunch at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're going to have to get on this schedule. But his schedule consists of reading all of Hoseheads, all of the newspapers online. And he is full of information on anything, really, but mostly, I think, racing.
I really like Mike Larson, Kyle's dad. He was extremely nice to me, and so was the mother. So, okay, I wanted to ask that about Kyle because your whole family, all of you are all in.
Yeah.
And so to breathe, you go on some great vacations, and I think it's fair game to talk about them because you have a wonderful Instagram page, and something that I noticed that I thought was in like a all moment. I'm like, oh my gosh. So you're over there in Italy and all of a sudden, Michael Jordan, the great Michael Jordan, pops up, and I see you on a yacht with him. Tell me about this encounter with Michael Jordan.
So it was great. Honestly, it was very organic. We kind of knew he was going to be there via Denny. And then I think Michael knew that we were going to be there as well because Denny had let him know. But we were walking around looking for or waiting for this club to open. It opened at 11 p.m. And I mean, the jet lag was just horrible for me. I was up till 3 a.m. every single night. I could not switch. But yeah, this club opened at 11 p.m. The whole Capri, everybody in Capri said that's the place to go, but you got to be in line kind of first, otherwise you won't get a seat. It was a little tiny hole in the wall. So we're
a
like,
dive like dingus.
yeah. So we were like, okay, well, we'll go grab a drink upstairs above it because it was kind of underground at our hotel. So we walked up the stairs and somebody's whistling at us and they're Kyle, Kyle. So we go look up and here it is, Michael Jordan. And he says, hey, come sit with us. And we had some great conversations. And one of the first things I said to him and his wife was, yeah, we're just waiting to get in that club down there. And she said, oh, we haven't been there in like 10 years. And he said, that would be a disaster if I went. And he had about, I don't know, 5 bodyguards around him. And well, one thing led to another. And at 1 a.m., I told him, the only way we're getting in that club now is if you take us. So guess what? We went till about 3 in the morning, and he got us in, and we were cracking up because they gave us a microphone, and we were singing and having a good old time. But it was live Italian music, so it wasn't like he's like I don't do the house music stuff, and I said, oh, neither do I. I'll get a headache. So anyway, it was such a blast, and then the next day he's such a big race fan. All he talked about the whole time was racing. And he said, come watch the F1 race on my boat with me tomorrow. So I went shopping with his wife and the boys went over and watched the F1 race and they fed us and it was great.
My gosh,
Very
that is incredible. The great Michael Jordan. So your takeaway. So you're a very young lady and you know all about the great Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player in the history of Earth. The man could do phenomenal things. So when you were, now this is me, this would be me. So you're sitting there, you're within 1 foot of him and you're partying with him. Did it ever enter your brain like, oh my God?
You know, he was so generous and so normal to us that I didn't feel like I think I see people do that to Kyle, like cry and kind of freak out. So I'm very like, I don't know. He just was so normal that I didn't feel, I feel like I'm wrong by saying this, but he was just one of us. I mean,
he put you at peace.
He didn't make us feel like he was better or some superior person or some famous person. He just said, sit down and, you guys we're all here together. And just, like I said, he's such a big race fan. Yeah. And talked about racing the whole time. It was just normal.
Yeah.
That's all we talk about in this family.
Yeah. And he's world famous. So
right. So he had 5 bodyguards and there was a lady crying next to me and she was just, she was obnoxious.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But she was overwhelmed. And Michael Jordan with 5 bodyguards and there you are that night. What do you think that will be a memory of a lifetime? You'll remember that forever.
Yeah, absolutely. We had some fun pictures taken and videos and, but yeah, I'll remember that forever for sure.
I am going to Italy in January with a dear friend of mine named John Scatoni. Now my wife won't go with me. She's afraid of traveling, overseas, and that's fine. We love each other very much, but me and John are going to go, and we've got a great list. What is one piece of advice you have for me? And we'll probably go to the places you've been to, but give me some advice, just 1 or 2 things about Italy that I should do.
Just wear comfortable shoes.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you're not probably going to go with the cute shoes, but like I did, but just wear comfortable shoes. And in January, it was so hot when we were there over the summer, so I'm sure you'll be fine in January.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, the Vatican and the Colosseum are a must see in Rome. I mean, that whole city, we learned about it in history. I don't think I appreciated it until I saw it, and we did all of the 3-hour tours. And I thought, oh gosh, a 3-hour tour, I'm going to be bored out of my mind. But it was amazing, absolutely amazing.
You said you went to the Vatican.
Yeah.
I have an obsession with the Vatican, and here's why. Because Christmas Eve, on Christmas Eve around midnight, I like to watch the Pope.
Yeah.
And it puts me in awe. What was the Vatican like for you?
I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just massive.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was a whole city amongst the city. That was something I learned.
Vatican City.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was. Yeah, I mean, I guess I realize that now. But the Pope does come out, I think, every Wednesday. So if you go there on a Wednesday, he comes out.
Yeah, that's
We were
awesome.
there on a Tuesday, so we missed it. But
I want to head kind of in the same realm here. You know, once again, I've made this famous. You know, I talked to you out in Chico at Silver Dollar Speedway, and there was a year that you and Kyle were in that motorhome by yourself, maybe with the kids every once in a while. You will tell me, and you said this was one of the happiest years of your life. It's when you and Kyle had to grow up, and you and Kyle were driving the motorhome by yourself. Tell me about that year and why that year meant so much to you.
yeah, I think you know, God gives you challenges in your life that at the time you might not realize are an opportunity to grow. And I think probably a lot of people in the year 2020 had some downfall, but for us specifically, we lost a lot, but we gained so much more after that year. We had Owen and Audrey with us, and 2 brand new kittens, and we've always had a motorhome driver. And you know, that time of year, we took the motorhome by ourselves. We've never really cooked in there. We've never, you know, cleaned, but not like deep clean. Never dumped the sewer, filled it with water. Never been aware of all those things. I mean, I guess maybe I was a little bit just growing up camping with my family, but and I'm definitely more the mechanical one in the family. So I had to teach Kyle how to do some things, or just kind of get, you know, the tomboy in me, and just learning from my parents how to get down and dirty a little bit. But watching him be receptive to all of that and learn how to do it all and work as a team and show our kids that, you know, we were able to get out of that time now, and now we can still go do it willingly. It was definitely our most favorite summer. We were 7 weeks on the road in our motorhome, and then we had a t-shirt trailer as well. So, which is crazy because it's what a lot of these guys in dirt racing do every year of their lives. But it was nice just to, you know, Kyle always said, I want to take a year off of cup racing and go full-time outlaw racing. And I don't know if he really meant that, knowing, you know, it just kind of happened. It was like, all right, 2020 happened, and that's pretty much what we chose to do. So 7 weeks, which is a very small time compared to what the full-time outlaws and high limit racing guys do. But we did it. And like I said, it was the summer of our lives. We grew so much as a family from that.
There is a fun joke about Kyle. And the joke is he may be the greatest race car driver of all time, but he cannot change a spare tire. Is that true?
Actually, it's funny. I have a picture. It's kind of a crappy situation, but in 2020, the day before he got let go of his job, he drove a Chevy Tahoe. He hit a curb. He got a flat tire. I was outside in the garage changing it with his sister. We had it jacked up. It was those big rims though. So I got the spare out.
20,
yeah. We got the spare out. I said, "Oh, you're going to have to call somebody. The spare does not fit. It's not the same rim." Well, then about 2 days later, we just called Chevy and said, "You can come get the car." We're we're done.
The greatest race car driver in the world hit a curb and we can't get the tire right.
He is one of the worst street drivers. So distracted. And he drives with 2 feet. And I don't know about you. I drive with, I switch over, but he drives with 2 feet. So he always wants to hit his mark. So if it's a red light in front of us, he drives to the line and then hits the brake. I'm like, my gosh, can we just ease off a little? But he's always in race mode, apparently.
Hey, now I told you I'm not going to talk about Kyle, and I'm not.
Yeah.
This is about you, but your brother tells me an interesting story. Brad, Brad Sweet. I said to Brad, I said, what makes Kyle so good? and he said everything is in slow motion to Kyle. He says that, and let me back up a little bit. I guess I'm asking you to come out of, you're married to Kyle, but I'm asking you to come out of your marriage for a little bit and tell me what you think. In other words, your brother says that what is real fast to us, like us humans, everything that's fast is in slow motion to Kyle. He says, like, Kyle's leading a race and he goes, oh yeah, the scoreboard here. And I saw you mess up over here. Your brother tells me that story.
Yeah.
Why do you think your husband is the greatest race car driver in the world?
Well, I mean, I'm not a racer, so I guess a race car driver anyway. So that part of it, I don't understand. And maybe that's where that helps me understand why he's good. But I see the other side of it. I see the work that he puts in at home. He's works out quite a bit more than he ever has, eats healthy, is conscious of everything that he's putting in his body. Where he used to not care. He used to just eat, as a dirt racer, Taco Bell, In-N-Out, whatever was open at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh no, I need to eat before the race, make sure I get a healthy meal. He does a lot of study work with Josh Wise. And then he's always watching a replay of a race and SMT and breaking points. And he's always asking the other guys. I mean, I don't know. He's just, from what I see at home, he's always putting in extra work on that side.
He's really studying his craft.
Yeah.
Listen up, kids. Listen up. The greatest race car driver in the world is studying his craft and eating good. Okay, let's head down another path that I've always watched through my wife's eyes. So I'm just going to be honest. I'm a very proud man. I love my wife immensely. I met Kim in high school. We grew up. We made it to the NASCAR Cup Series, and I'm like, okay, I got to buy the airplane. I buy the motorhome. I buy her 2-carat earrings. I get her the, couple big rocks. And my wife is all in with me. She goes out to driver's introduction with me, but she never went to introduction. She would go to the top of the pit box, and very, very proud of, my wife. As you are a NASCAR wife now, what is it like to see maybe Samantha Bush? Is there a protocol? Do you have to represent? What is your thought on being a NASCAR wife? And I went through all this. I just threw myself in so you would feel comfortable commenting on it. I did it. Yeah. I had an airplane, King Air 200. I had employees. I did it all. And it was a wonderful time.
Yeah.
But as I look back on it, I'm like, wow.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It makes life easier to have an airplane. I would love to have that luxury. But thankfully, we have Kyle races for one of the best in the sport, and that's Mr. Hendrick. And he's got a great aviation fleet that he generously lets us use as we need it. But the pit box, as soon as I had kids and they told me that the kids weren't allowed on the pit box, it was nap time. So the kids, we just went back to we go back to the motorhome, or, whatever I can to watch the kids. I don't take anybody on the road with me to watch the kids. That's just, there's not really a reason. I don't think we're in the motorhome. MRO is there for a little bit of free time for me if they want to go play. I don't go on the road as much anymore to NASCAR races. I feel like Owen's racing on the weekends now. Audrey's playing baseball and racing. But yeah, I think it's great that Samantha goes and sits on the pit box and supports. I mean, that's some good free time, but Kyle doesn't talk a lot on the radio, and I get really bored if I'm being honest. So I'd rather listen to the broadcast. I love listening to other opinions outside of actually maybe what's going on internally, and keeping up that way, and keeping up with some of the other, teams and stuff that's going on. Early on, one of my favorite things to do was bombard Kyle when he would get out of the car and we'd head to the airport. I would just bombard him with, do you know what happened to so-and-so? Did you watch that wreck? And he's like, I was in the car. No, I don't know what happened. So now the rule is I'm not allowed to speak to him for 1 whole hour until he watches the race and kind of gets, settled back down and into or out of race mode, and kind of like understands what happened throughout the race and catches up. And then I'm allowed to talk to him about it.
Boy, I think this is my favorite part. This is my favorite part of the conversation, because you just told me that you're a mama.
Yeah.
And actually, there's not any room on the pit box for you and your 3 kids.
Yeah.
And you get bored. And if you do go to the races, you got to watch your 3 kids.
Right.
Wow, this is really good stuff. Listen up, everybody. Listen up. Yeah, there's balance in life, don't you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm there to support Kyle. We're there. I think he loves having us there. And I love being there to support him. And if something doesn't go exactly right on the track, we're there to, just comfort him in any way, or put him back into reality by, all right, there's a diaper to be changed, or we got to go get dinner before we get on this plane, or whatever.
I see Kyle carrying the kids. I see you carrying the kids. Yeah. Listen, everybody, go to her Instagram page. It's really good. She shows her life right there. Let's talk about Owen, your son. I see that you're everywhere racing with Owen. Is that your father-in-law, Mike, and maybe your dad's job? How does Owen get to these races?
Well, I've been begging both of the grandpas to move to North Carolina so they could help out, but they're both very stubborn and just love California, but complain about it just as much as they love it.
Yeah.
No, Owen races for Chad Boat. So
yeah.
It's a rental program, and Chad's great with Owen, and Owen's a good kid. So we just asked him, hey, do you mind if when there's times that I can't go or can't juggle at all and Kyle's off racing, and Chad will just take Owen with him. Next weekend, he's just riding the hauler to Illinois. So he's like, man, a 17-hour drive, Mom. And I'm like, you want to go racing? It's part of it. So he has his friends with him, though. So Wyatt Miller and Braxton Flatt, the Flatt family is from Illinois as well, and they're great. So he has fun once he gets there, and you know what? That's what we have to do right now in our lives.
I have a good friend named Nick Hoffman,
Yeah.
and Nick, and you know Nick Hoffman.
Yeah.
Nick will tell me some things that make me laugh. Nick said that your husband Kyle said, well, Owen was upset. He retired from racing last week. Then like a month later, he goes, up, he's unretired. He's going back racing. What is Owen like?
Right now, well, I think, yeah, he just, early on in Owen's career, it was, he started in 2020 and then 2021 and 2022. And you're seeing your dad up on top of a wing. I mean, almost every time he gets in a car, and Owen would, he was little, he was 6, 7 years old, and he would get out of his car and be like, well, why am I not winning? What am I doing? Like, I don't understand this. And so he just retired. He said, I'm done with this. I can't do this. I don't really get it. And then you've got, Uncle Brad too, and Uncle Brad's winning championships, and we're watching him win all the time too. So I think in his mind, he just didn't understand it. But so he played baseball for a little bit, and then now he's kind of like, okay, the baseball is scary. He's so little for his age. So to be playing against these kids that are his age, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12-year-olds. I mean, they're young men at this point, and they're throwing the ball and hitting the ball, and he is like, heck no, I'm not out there. So we tried racing again, and it kind of clicked in it. We got him in some faster cars. We moved him up to the box stocks and junior sprints, and now he's racing in a restricted micro. And with more speed, the better he is. I think I don't really understand why, but he's getting a lot better. And now he's all in. I think he's running up front. He's running against Brexton, and Brexton, he's racing every weekend in different types of cars, and Owen's now competitive with him, so he's starting to feel better about racing and going to travel with his friends and stuff. So he's unretired.
There is something about what you just said to showing your children there's other things.
Right.
Okay, you don't want to race. Let's go play baseball. Let's go play basketball. And you did all that. And do you think because you showed him other things in life, then he was able to love racing more?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we fully stepped. There's never been any pressure on him to do anything. I think especially we don't push him to do racing because of the pressure that even the fans put on him. They're always asking. So when we go to the racetrack, we don't ever push him to do anything. We don't ever yell at him. We don't ever, it's just as long as he's having fun. I mean, that's what he should be doing. Now that he's getting more competitive, we'll say, okay, you missed your line. Do you realize that? Or I'll be like, hey, dude, what were you doing out there?
Yeah.
Daydreaming, or like I know you know how to do it, but I think giving him other opportunities made him realize that it's all equally hard. You just have to put the work in.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. and myself, we became friends years ago before he was even a race car driver. And the closer we became, we had a conversation. We were at Sears Point, and he didn't qualify good. And I went up to him, and he's kind of by himself. And I said, "What's wrong, man?" As a normal friend, not the hysteria of the famous Dale Jr. And he looked at me, and he was so sincere. He says, "Well," he said, "I'm supposed to be this great race car driver, because I'm Dale Sr.'s boy, and I qualified 25th." And he felt that weight on him. So what you're telling me is you are aware that this can happen to Owen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it can happen to him. And also, I don't want him to know that everything's just paid for either. Because Kyle didn't grow up, with Kyle and my brother, our families, my brother and Kyle both had to work to where they are at today. So we also have to try to teach him, hey, you're going to have to get up and work hard at this. And yes, we have the finances for it at the moment, and we probably always will, but be thankful, be humble. Don't ever raise your arms at anybody. Don't ever use your voice in the wrong way, or flip people off or do any of that. Just trying to keep them, humble and working hard at it, but don't ever feel like, you have to be your dad or you have to be your uncle.
Yeah. You are the mama. Are you the leader? Are you the leader of the family?
I would say, yeah. Kyle tells me that I wear the pants, but I also try to let him also show some disciplinary and leadership as well. I mean, he does, but I'm the one that's here and doing the day-to-day things on a consistent basis. So I would say, yes, I'm the leader.
Yeah, that's awesome. My wife is. Yeah, I would tell everybody. I said my wife's the boss, but I'm the leader. Something like that. Man, we're already closing in on an hour. I always say that just to remind my guests that. So we have a Owen. How old is Owen?
He's 9.5. His birthday's in December.
And now, man, you got a little girl that looks like Kyle. Yes. I mean, so what are the other two's names?
Audrey and Cooper. Audrey is 6 years old and Cooper is 1.5.
Oh my God. What are they like?
Audrey, she's special. She's a spitfire. She's got all the attitude. I mean, all the spunk and all the drive. Brad keeps saying she's going to be the one. She's going to be the one. She's going to be the next Kyle.
Well, I mean, Audrey is, I guess, who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like a mini me. Am I right? Doesn't she? Is she she's a twin to Kyle? Her face and
Yeah.
everything.
I think they a lot. Yeah, she looks most like Kyle's family. I think she looks a lot like Kyle's sister and acts a lot like Kyle's sister.
Yeah, and Owen looks just like your brother Brad.
He does. Yeah.
I mean, it's like it looks like it's strikingly awesome to
Yeah.
have your children look just like your family.
Yeah.
Do you think all that too?
Yeah. I think I've said that I've birthed all of our siblings. I have Brad and I have Kyle's sister is Audrey, and then our youngest looks like my oldest brother Derek, or my dad. So he
Yeah.
resembles a lot of the Sweet family too.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Katelyn, it's been wonderful. We've talked about it all. You got, listen, I got to tell you this, and we'll kind of end a little bit like this. I've got a best friend in life. His name is Billy Smith. And Billy, he was my crew chief on my dirt car for about 8-9 years. And I told Billy, I said, hey, I'm going to have a conversation with Katelyn Larson. And he goes, oh my God. He goes, that's unbelievable. And it made me realize that, you know, a lot of people admire you for what you're doing. And I think after this conversation, they're going to have a better look inside your life. You're growing up now, and you're telling us you just can't go to every cup race. You're a mama.
Yeah.
And we've learned so much from you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. I really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, it was awesome. Okay, what is our next dirt race? Do we know?
Oh, well, Kyle's done racing sprint cars right now. And I've kind of banned him from late models. I told him, you got to drop one thing.
Oh, yeah.
So he took a break from late models because he wasn't as successful as he wanted to be. And he felt that maybe he wanted to be more all in, but right now he can't be all in and be running as good. So for Owen, the next dirt race is next week in Illinois at Coles County. And then Kyle's next dirt race will be not till Thanksgiving. We're doing Thanksgiving at the beach in Ventura for turkey, or it's called Turkey Night.
So
another family trip to the racetrack.
I thought our conversation was over, but this is breaking news in the garage area. So with the NASCAR playoffs coming, is that the reason Kyle is not going to run any wing sprint cars?
Correct. Yep.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Like I said, he did this all on his own. His focus is shifted, and playoffs are very important. So he's done racing dirt until the off season.
Wow.
And then the off season, we hit the ground running again. It's not really off season.
Yeah, and that Ventura race has pretty big. Okay. Well, listen, what a wonderful talk. Listen up, everybody. We are in podcast form, and you can listen to Katelyn on your way to work, on your way back home. We are on Spotify and iTunes. But when you watch it here on YouTube, you get to look at her. You get to see the pictures that Charlie drops in. And until next time, we'll see you later.
All right. Thank you.